Hi, this is Jeff at Slayton's Racing. This video is about durometer testing motorcycle tires. So this tool here laying on this tire is, the general name for it is a durometer, but a more technical and probably the correct name for this one is a Shore A durometer. Shore, S-H-O-R-E, and then the letter A, durometer. And what Shore A means is the rating, the hardness rating that this particular durometer tests. It tests on the Shore A scale. There's a lot of different scales. I don't know how many, but there's lots of them. And they they're designed for testing different materials. So obviously tire rubber is not that hard. This is the one that's designed for that type of material. Now if I was testing, say, some soft plastics or some synthetic materials or a number of materials, I mean there's millions of applications for this, I might be using a different tester, like a Shore D durometer tester or a Shore OO durometer. But for tires, you use the Shore A. Now this one doesn't say it anywhere in their product information. This one's made by Longacre, which is a company that provides products for automotive racing. And their information doesn't say what scale it is, but I'm assuming that it's a Shore A because that's the common one used for tires. So the scale goes from 0 to 100, as you can see. The piece on the top is just for your finger to hold it. And there's a needle on the bottom of it. It goes in and out and operates the dial. Now this one, I think this one was around $60 or $70. There's some cool ones out now. If they're digital, that might be a little bit easier to operate. And they're about 30% more, I think. So the main thing, I mean, this one does fine for testing motorcycle tires. There's no need to have a better one or a more expensive one. The main thing is consistency in your testing. All testing, no matter what you're testing, is consistency. So a big factor in testing tires with the durometer is how you operate the durometer, and then the temperature of the tire. You know, the ambient temperature and possibly the actual temperature of the tire, if you wanted to test that with a heat gauge. But you know, if you're testing a tire that you just rode down the pavement, you're going to get a lot different reading than you would one sitting in a cold garage. And you definitely get different readings in the wintertime versus readings in the summertime, especially if you live in extremely hot climates. So you have to keep all those factors in mind and try to do testing, keep your testing within a certain temperature range in order to get accurate information. And the reason I do this is just to have an idea of how soft or hard the rubber is that I'm on the tire that I'm testing. You know, the more information you have, the better decision you can make about the product. So there's different methods, a couple of different methods for using the durometer, and I use the method that Longacre recommends because since they manufactured this. So their method, please bear with me, I'm doing this by myself. My wife, who does the videos for me quite often, is gone tonight. But the Longacre method is to angle the durometer back and then roll it forward. And as you roll it forward and it bottoms out, then that's the reading. So on this, it's about 58. And then I usually test several places up and down the tire. And I'll test the side knob, I'll test the center knob, so I'll go back and forth around the tire and just check it to make sure that the tire is consistent, because sometimes they're not. Sometimes you'll get, and then some brands like Bridgestone, I've not actually tested it to confirm it, but they claim that they have a harder compound in the middle than they do on the sides on some of their tires. Other people, I've seen some on the internet where they just push them straight down like that, take the reading real quick. Well, if you leave it very long, the reading will start. Let me see if I can get it to do it here. Let's move up to this other tire. So this is the prototype tire that's in one of my other videos. You can see it's got some wear. And so if I just do it this way, you can see the gauge just goes down. So the needle's working its way in. I'll do that again, just show you one more time. I don't use that method, I use long needle method. And I use the same method every time. So I angle it, rotate it forward, look at the number real quick. Angle it, rotate it forward. This tire is 49 to 50. This tire down here, I'm sorry about the glare, it's really hard to get away from the glare. I'm going to do the same thing here. See, it bumps up to about 56 to 58. If you can see that in the video, I'm going to move back here. And see this side, there we go, that went up to 62. So I go over it several times and kind of come up with an average. This one averages around 60. This is a V-rubber GNCC tacky that I'm going to mount up tonight and test this week, later this week. And as you can see, it's a little harder compound than this other one I have, and both of these are soft compounds. These are considered trials rubber, trials tire rubber. I think that's about all there is to tell you about durometers. Pretty simple gauge. Get one and check it out. That's all for now.